Hey everybody, how you doing? It is Matt and Steph here from Insurgent Creations. We are here to do our 2025 end of the year countdown, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why that's the image that's up there right now, but there we go.
There we go.
That's the image that we want. It's a Team and Sim Live end of year 2025 wrap. We're going to talk our most notable movies, music, TV, streaming, books. We're also going to wrap our own stuff up. We've also got the very first announcement for our first 2 live events in 2026. So, Steph, how you we're going to remove this for a second? Just go back to you and me. I'm going to see. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put you back. There we go. Now we're looking towards the middle like that. Yes. So, Steph, what do you think about 2025 for InSim? We had a very busy year, did we not?
For InSim, it was good. It was very busy, sometimes too busy, as is we are wont to do. But we had a lot of great shows. We met some new people. We got to go to shows and catch up with fans, which I hate the word fans, so I'm going to say readers and supporters alike, and met new ones, both at shows and Kickstarters. And it was great to be out and about in the world and talk with people who are like-minded and enjoy the stuff that we create. And it was busy.
Oh yeah.
That's about as much as I can say about 2025 for InSim. It was busy.
Oh yeah, it was definitely busy.
Way too busy, but
So one of the things about it being busy, statistically, we actually had the most live appearances that we've had since pre-COVID. We had 23 live appearances this past year, which was great. Part of that was because you got a couple of cool things that you were able to do on your side. You got the guest appearance at Barnes & Noble, which was awesome. And then you also had what was the, we'll talk more about other things later, but your top moment of 2025 was being able to sit on the Jaws 50th anniversary panel at San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, that was a pretty cool accomplishment
100%.
Right there.
100%. Yep, 100%.
Then on the InSim side, let me see if I can do something here. I'm going to remove this really quick. So
you'll have to read the comments out loud to me because for whatever reason, StreamYard is being really dumb on my end and I can't see any of it. So I'm not going to be able to see anybody's comments. I don't want them to think that I'm ignoring them.
Yep, not a problem at all.
So read them aloud. I'm not going to be able to respond because, again, I don't know why StreamYard's being this way, but it decided to just hate me today. So
one of the cool things we did this year, we did not 1, not 2, not 6, but 5 crowdfunding campaigns. We the goal was, and I'd set a goal out at the beginning of the year. We had our calendar set out that we were going to do. I thought we had room to do 5, and we did end up doing 5. It just was a little different 5 than we expected. So we started off the year with The Perilous Prospects, issue 4 of 5. We just completed the fulfillment for the finale and are getting some great feedback on that. Seems like the issue itself and the merchandise and all that go along with it, that everybody really has seemed to enjoy the issue so far. Super stoked about that. So we did, we had that one. Then we also got to do, let me go pull another graphic up here. So you'll be like, man, why didn't you have these things staged already? Well, you only have like 10 graphics you can have in the background at a time.
We have a lot of graphics on this show. So
a lot of graphics today.
Just a little bit of momentary lapses in between because we had a lot to cover.
That's right. So the other one we got to run, which was huge for us earlier in the year, was we got to run Misfits Clubhouse, all the shenanigans so far. Without getting too deep into the weeds on this one, this was a long time in coming. It should have been out well before 2025, but The delays actually made it to week where we could put a better book out. The version that would have come out earlier is not the version that came out through us this year. Much larger book, 20 more pages than it would have had originally. So it was awesome to be able to get this book out with 11 stories in there. Had one of our most fun campaign videos that we've ever done. People got a good laugh out of the campaign video. Maybe if we feel like it later, we might play it again just for the sake of doing it if we need to kill some time. But the Misfits Clubhouse, all the shenanigans so far, trade paperback was awesome. Steph, you have any comments you want to make about finally being able to get this book out there into the world?
I love Misfits. It's one of my favorite things that we have ever done. I hope that we will continue Misfits later on in the future, because I feel like it's important for us to have not only an all ages title, but something that is a little bit lighter, because a lot of the stuff that we do is very, 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 very serious, and that's not our personalities, so it kind of doesn't match. And so I like having Misfits on the table, because it gives people an option if they come up with their kids, or they're just like, nah, I'm not into fantasy, or whatever the case may be. But it also shows our true personalities, because they come and they talk to us at shows, and then they pick up, airs or whatever else, and like, man, this is really serious and dark. So,
So, got more Drax in the chat. Ward von Schnitzenladel. That's actually Wade, who was drawn into Perilous Prospects 4. He's there. Then Stephen Urasta said, hello, guys. You guys have had an amazing, awesome year. Can't wait to see all the stuff that's coming out. And you're coming in 2026. Same with us. We're super stoked about that.
Yes.
And then John Westhoff said, strange year, on to the next. So, yeah, it's definitely a crazy year all the way around. You got that right. So the other thing we did, which we see on the screen right now, is we got a release, issue 1 of a brand new series, Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress. Really, really excited to see this series move forward. We'll talk more about what's coming in the future for Tatsumi later on, once we go through some of our notables list here in just a minute. But Tatsumi, really enjoyed the first issue, seeing how it came together. And then, there's just a lot. We'll talk more about Tatsumi soon, but really enjoy the covers, the story arc, everything. Anything you want to say about Tatsumi before we move forward?
It's fun. It's pirates, and I love pirates. Anybody that knows me well enough knows that I love pirates. It's a lot of adventure, which again is one of my favorite genres. So it's nice to kind of depart a little bit from heavy apocalyptic, stuff, and kind of go, not that there isn't drama in this series, but it does have some fun aspects to it. So that's nice.
Well, when we were putting this series together too, I said, what's something you want to make sure we have in this series? And the word that Steph said right off the top was, this thing has to be swashbuckling. There has to be some fun in there. And so as the issues have been created, we basically have had to make sure that there were set pieces in each issue, but it also pushed forward the overall story arc. And we wanted to make sure these were actually comic-sized issues.
Yeah.
Unlike Heirs, unlike Tales from Nocturnia, Keto, where everything is a little bit longer in the issues. It's a 32-page issue, so it's forced us and the art team to make sure that we don't over extrapolate in certain areas, because if we do, then it would be outside of that normal comic size. And we're really trying to make sure that each one of these issues stays at 32 pages, so that way people know consistently what they're going to get. But yeah, really excited about this. And as you see, that's an image from Chess and Gwen, our favorite sister duo from out there in Steph's town of Visalia, California. And, they are going to be along on this journey with us with some cover art, and we'll see some more of that coming here soon. But this is not the thing that we are doing this show on. Yes, we're talking about InSim. Yes, we're talking about the things we did. We also did a backer kit holiday market, which was great. Gave us the opportunity to explore some other areas of focus. People really enjoyed seeing our trading cards again. We hadn't put some of our trading cards back out there in a while. And so them being able to get a chance to get some of those collectibles kind of opened our eyes. So give us some different thoughts for as we move forward. But we are here to talk about our top notables lists for the year. Notables in movies, notables in TV and streaming. Steph's going to talk about some notable books to her. I'm going to talk about some notable metal music to me as well. So without further ado, we should get our butts right onto that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you had a different thought.
I think we should just stop it right now.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with some movies that really appealed to us this year. This is in no particular order other than our top. So it's not like this is a ranking from 10 to 1. This is just, here's things that hit on our radar. So the very first one we're going to talk about is Frankenstein. So Steph, what was it about Frankenstein that made you say this was a movie we needed to talk about today?
It was an interesting take because it's different. That was Del Toro's vision for it. He did not want to do like another remake. He wanted to do like a reimagining of the original story. It's a very pretty movie, visually stunning, a little long, kind of is a little bit slow, but I appreciate as a horror fan that there was a slightly different take to it because it was done tastefully and not we're just going to rip this title off and whatever else. So but visually stunning. Costumes were great. Of course, we're going to love the costumes. It was top hats and all that kind of stuff that you see Matt in all the time. And so it was an enjoyable watch. It was interesting.
For me, I like the fact that the monster, there was a little bit different take on the monster, where the monster was a lot more of a sympathetic character. And even when he went through his rage and things like that, there was a reason for why he felt the way that it wasn't just like it wasn't just rage with nothing behind it, which was the thing I thought was cool. I really liked the character development there, and Frankenstein himself was a complete ass in the movie. Like they really made him a complete jerk.
Which we should probably preface this by saying that if you're watching this, there's going to be spoilers on a lot of the stuff that we talk about. Not heavy spoilers, but there are going to be spoilers. So, spoiler alert! If you don't want to know,
So Frankenstein, definitely one of those. It's just came out on Netflix recently, but it definitely was worth the watch. So another movie that was worth the watch that you're going to see a wide range here. I wanted to make sure this one was on. Here's the Minecraft movie. A Minecraft movie. To me, this movie was the epitome of fun. And the thing I thought was great about this movie was that Jack Black wasn't originally supposed to be in this movie. It was supposed to be our guy from What We Do in the Shadows. And that would have been incredible to have him in this movie. However, seeing Jack Black in this movie and the musical numbers and the kind of Jack Blackiness that he has in the movie, I can't imagine this movie with anybody else other than him in that, lead of an ensemble kind of role. What do you think there, Steph?
So this is an interesting one because when the trailer came out, everybody panned it widely and said, oh, this movie is going to be trash. It's going to be terrible. And I have very fond memories of the Minecraft video game. I played it with my kids ad nauseum. Both of them actually still play it from time to time. To be honest, it was very cathartic. We built entire worlds. We built houses for all our family members and friends and all that kind of stuff. So this had a lot to live up to for me. And there was enough nostalgia with those who grew up or were parents that grew up with kids that played this game to understand the references, but they didn't go over the heads of people who might not have ever played it and not understood. And I was very surprised because I heard, the trailer was terrible. And then there was all the stuff about people just tearing apart movie theaters, which don't do that. Okay. If you're going to go see a movie, don't trash it. Okay. Because there's employees that are probably teenagers that are going to clean up after you. Don't be a jerk. So it was great. It was fun. I was very surprised that it actually had like a great plot and storyline. It was a great homage to the video game for those of us who have played for years.
So Minecraft movie it was a super fun movie. Had a lot of fun being able to watch. I watched that movie multiple times. It's just a fun movie, and it's just, I'm just glad that movie came out this year. I really enjoyed it. I did not expect to enjoy it, and I've watched it multiple times. Really glad that that it came out as well as it did. A couple other comments. Mordrax, definitely different take for sure on Frankenstein. He also said Rage with a Purpose. And then Grey Ghost Comics said, hi. So Grey Ghost Comics, freaking love that store. Cannot wait. Grey Ghost Comics to get back up there in 2026 in Tifton, Georgia. We'll definitely
Hopefully
talk.
I'll be able to make the trek out.
We'll definitely be able to talk soon and see what he can do about getting up there. Then our guy Brian Winslow, who's out there now in Texas, said, hey guys, what's going on, Brian? Brian's got a show coming up, Mockingbird Lane in March now that got delayed because of some of those storms over the summer last year. But now Mockingbird Lane is going to be up there. Hopefully we can get out there and do a show with Brian as well. And we've talked to him a few times about trying to make something happen. We'll see if something can work. But now let's get on to the next movie. So we're going to go to a completely animated movie. Actually, no, we're not. I'm lying to you. We're going to go to Happy Gilmore 2. So as odd as it may seem, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that Happy Gilmore 2 was going to be on any kind of movie list other than the Razzies, I would have said, no, there's not a chance. Happy Gilmore 2 was actually really well put together and was a fun movie. I don't know if you had the same thought that I did about Happy Gilmore 2 stuff, but what was your thoughts about Happy Gilmore? Would you have put that movie on a list?
That's what I have to say about it. It was not terrible, but I honestly forgot about it.
Hey,
long after. Adam Sandler I can take in small doses. I think he's a better dramatic actor. Flame me all you want, but he's a better dramatic actor than he's a comedic actor. And this was a good nod to the original, I guess. But it was just, it's not in my top 10.
Well, I can understand that being in your top 10. For me, I thought that it was way better than a lot of the movies that he's done recently, and it just was surprising that it was able to be as enjoyable as it was. I expected it to be like a Herbie Halloween or whatever that movie was, and it was just going to be terrible. So for it to actually be good, I was really surprised.
I like the family dynamic and his million kids that he had, but
with that being said, we're going to go to a movie that we can both definitely say should be on the list, and that is K-pop Demon Hunters. K-pop Demon Hunters, when it first came out, I was like, my daughter, who is probably 15 feet away from me in the kitchen cooking something right now, she's huge into K-pop. Hey, what's going on, Cam? Hey, huge into K-pop. Has a K-pop side hustle, all that kind of stuff. When I saw K-pop Demon Hunters come up, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be absolute trash. I'm like, this is going to be just a kiddie movie that is going to suck. I'm not going to like this, but I'm going to have to watch it just because. And I literally just was like, hey, the other day I wanted to rewatch the movie. I feel like the musical score in it is great. It's probably one of the best scores, best songs in an animated movie that I've seen in a long time. Normally, animated movies have got just trash songs. I thought it was really well done, and you can clearly see how much it's taken over, where you've got the voices behind Huntrix actually were at one of the NFL halftime shows at Christmas, and this movie just came out this year, and to see something be that ingrained in pop culture that quickly was actually pretty shocking. What are your thoughts there, Steph, if you have any, on K-pop Demon Hunters?
I definitely would say we agree, but the animation is great. The music is amazing. The songs are absolute bangers. You would have to be dead inside to like not hear these songs and not be like, okay, this is a bop. This is really fun. So the animation and the music is phenomenal. The songs are fun. The story is a little drawn out, a little overblown. I don't really know, like the whole friends to enemies thing didn't quite resonate with me. It was just, and I wish they would make up their mind. Is Huntrix an actual band? Because I feel like it's like, oh no, these are animated characters, and that's the name of the band in the movie. But then we're just gonna not talk about the fact that these are incredibly talented singers and performers who are performing these songs. We're just not going to talk about them ever. And yeah,
Well,
they did like the Snoop Dogg thing, but it's been nothing. It's been, people thought it was AI over the summer. They're like, is this AI? Is it fake? This isn't a real band. Can we just make them a real band so they can go on tour and actually like?
well, I think that's
like,
exactly what's. I think it's
perform?
exactly what's going to happen. I think it's going to be
It
just
doesn't
like.
sound like it though.
I feel like
Sounds
it's going to
they're
be. I
I
feel like it's going to be
I-
just like with Metalocalypse and Death Clock, where after a while you got the guys behind it actually toured as Death
I
Clock.
just wish that these performers would get the credit that's due, because these
Fine.
songs are amazing because there's actual humans that sing them and not like these animated characters that
That's what I'm
look
saying.
like
I think
every other.
in 2026 you're going to see the musical voices behind Huntrix actually get more of a push
I
because
hope.
that
Otherwise, it goes into a whole exploitation thing that has been with female K-pop groups, and I don't want to see that happen to them. They are actual human beings that perform this, not animated characters who are fictional. And I would like to see them get credit because they're very talented and fun. And I don't know what's going on with that. So
all right, so let's go to a couple more comments. So Brian Winslow goes back to Adam Sandler. He said Adam Sandler should have won the Oscar for his 9/11 film. That was his best role.
yes,
Steven
better
Urost.
dramatic actor for sure.
Steven Urost, my daughter watched K-pop Demon Hunter so many times. Honestly, great story, great songs. It's a movie, should be an absolutely entertaining. Yes, they were on stage with Snoop Dogg. And then Brian also said,
That's it though. Where else
yeah,
have you seen
Brian
that?
also said we're going to have one of the voice actors from K-pop Demon Hunters at Mockingbird Lane. It's about to win an Oscar too, as well. It should. Good.
I ask of you to make sure they get their due. These are actual performers that work very hard, and it sucks that they've got animated fake fictional characters that are so.
All right,
That's my thought on K-pop.
So now we're going to something on the darker side of things. It was one of our runners up for this year. Both of us for movies, we're pretty much in the same line here. So Weapons. I'm going to let Steph take the lead on Weapons. What's your thoughts on Weapons?
Weapons is my runner-up. It's not 100% a great film, but I love Zach Cregger. Barbarian is one of my top horror films of the last decade or so. It's so wild and crazy and bonkers and ridiculous, and I know it's not for everybody. So he had a lot. That was his first movie, and so he had a lot to live up to with this. And this one was also wild, and I really don't want to give a lot of spoilers for this, but it did really drag in the middle. I mean, it was kind of like, okay, we're seeing, and it got a little confusing for me. I don't like a lot of time jumps back and forth. But it was not what I was expecting, and so props to them. The ending is insane. It's not for everybody. It's very violent, and so if that's not your jam, then don't watch this. But it went in a direction I wasn't expecting. So
the one thing I'll say about Weapons is that the level of scares in movies, I'm not the kind of person that normally is like, yeah, that's something that seems really creepy. But the way that the people that get possessed in this movie, as you can see from the image, the way that they actually maneuver and the way that they move and all that definitely comes off very creepy. As Steph pointed out, not in this, but previously, that imagery is taken from one of the famous Hiroshima pictures. And I think that because that's such a gut-wrenching real world thing, that the draw from that over to this is just huge. It's that definitely really helps to bring that serious creep factor to there. So then before we get to our top movie of the year, we're going to take a quick jaunt because we said notables. We have two other movies that are notable that we want to talk about before we move on. So the next movie we're going to talk about that's notable is, both of us agree, the top documentary of the year is The Perfect Neighbor. So I'm going to start this one here. The Perfect Neighbor, there's two reasons why this one is pretty amazing. One is because this is all filmed. It's all a compilation of basically body cam footage. if you don't know what The Perfect Neighbor is, it's about a neighborhood where you've got one neighbor that doesn't like the way the neighborhood reacts and acts and stuff like that. So the one neighbor is always calling the cops on an older lady is calling the cops on the families and the children and stuff like that. And it builds and builds and builds to where the lady who keeps calling the cops ends up shooting one of the neighbors through her own door and ends up killing her. And the thing about this movie is it's all
big time spoilers.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Well, it's all body cam footage, and it's a well-known case that happened. It was all over the news. But being able to see this thing play out through body cams all the way through is pretty incredible. There's no additional narrator. There's no additional dialogue. It's just, here's the body cam footage. And one of the things that makes this movie amazing and insane is this was literally filmed in Ocala, Florida. This happened in the town that I live in. So a lot of the locations, like the Chipotle that is right down the street from me, about 2 miles away. You see the cops kind of there. I served jury duty at one point in the fall last year, and one of the cops that's in the movie was somebody that was a witness in the case that I was on jury duty for. So just seeing a lot of these things hit home was pretty wild. What about for you, Stephanie? Anything you want to add about The Perfect Neighbor?
Oh yeah, like with the body cam footage, I mean, like Matt and I decided to watch this, and it was a little bit later in the night, and we're like, we'll start it and we'll probably finish it tomorrow. And because he knew that, he's like, oh, I know about this case because it happened in Ocala and I live in Ocala. And so when it starts and you're like, oh, it's all body cam footage, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. It was so incredibly riveting. We stayed up late to watch the whole thing from start to finish because you just cannot stop watching. It's a very heartbreaking story in a lot of ways. And it's insane. And there's a lot of social commentary on it, which we're not going to discuss because we don't do that as in sin, but there's a lot of social commentary with it. I will say that it is a very difficult watch at times because you're going to see live footage, actual recorded footage of little kids. And again, spoilers, learning that their parent has been murdered. And I couldn't watch it. That part I had to close my eyes because I couldn't. It was too hard. It was too difficult. But it is a very interesting case on class and social structures and age differences and a lot of other things and a lot of different ways about it. But it is worth a watch. It's very
definitely is worth a watch for sure. It's very original in the way it's presented. So we're going to take a quick turn. So we said notable. We always try to stay positive. We always try to look at the bright side of things when it comes to the way we present ourselves and social media, things like that. But there's one movie that came out this year that we cannot not have a discussion about notable movies in 2025 and not talk about Ice Cube's War of the Worlds. I heard before watching this movie that this was one of the worst movies, not just of the year, but of a decade in modern times, that this movie was just terrible. The floor for how bad this movie was going to be was set really low. So I knew exactly what I was getting when I decided to watch this movie. However, I still was unable to be prepared for just how bad this movie really was. This movie is War of the Worlds from sitting at your desk, just like you probably are right now, watching War of the Worlds happen on computer screens and watching it play out through the most intrusive, personal, space violating security surveillance that you'll ever see. Ice Cube is violating everybody's privacy by being able to log into their phones, log into their
His
cameras
kids.
at their house, log into their TVs,
Yeah.
being like, oh, I need to see if my daughter is watching a movie at her house. Click, 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 and go and log in and watch her sitting on her couch. Like, that's crazy. But the other thing I'm going to let you talk about, Steph, is the unbelievable product placement in this movie.
Oh yeah, and I mean, really, that wasn't the thing that bothered me the most, because you see it in everything. If you watch any Apple TV show, what are you going to see? Oh, well, let's open up our laptop and it's a MacBook. Like, it is what it is. I mean,
But it's over the top with being an Amazon ad. Over the top, yeah.
As a film critic, I have a specific MO that I adhere to, in that unless there is something egregious, like if it was something really disgusting and it would have to be like really bad abuse, I'm not going to ever say a movie is terrible. That is how I review films. If I don't like a film, it will be made clear. But there are people that worked on this that got paid probably way more than I make to make this thing. And Ice Cube is not the best actor in the world, but he is better than this. It's a very weird take that did not need to be made. That's what I will say. In the words of Monty Python, no thanks, we've already got one. Didn't need to be made. That's what I will say.
All right, so now we're going to go quickly, swing back. So real quick, I have a couple more comments. So Brian Winslow said, Weapons and Sinners, most profitable films of 2025 based on the budget they were made for. Both will win Oscars too. Then he said he thinks the best documentaries of the year was Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. And so he just mentioned what our consensus number one movie for the year is. And I think it's difficult to not put Sinners up there. There's so many good things that can be said about this movie. Steph, give us one thing right off the top. One thing you thought was really good.
Surprise of the year. Who knew this was coming? It's Ryan Coogler. Everyone loves Ryan Coogler. He's done some amazing films. Michael B. Jordan is amazing. But nobody knew. I don't remember anybody talking about this movie until we saw a trailer, like maybe like a month or two before. And then it came out. It was like, okay, let's see what this interesting, like weird little horror film is. And it just blew us away. The art direction, the acting, Michael B. Jordan playing two roles as twins, which yes, it's been done before, but he does it.
He does it in a way that's way better.
The music, the story, and yes, From Dusk Till Dawn, we know all that. Okay, like yes, but it is still one of the most original stories. Think about all the movies that came out this year that were based on something else, based on a comic, based on a book, based on another movie, a remake, a reboot. This is an original story, and that is why it's my top film.
For me, I feel like, and some people have said to them it's a detriment, but I really love the fact that they really develop the first half of the movie one way, and then partway through, it completely flips the scripts and becomes a completely different movie. And I feel like the second half of the movie would not be as impactful as it is without the first half of the movie being developed the way that it was. To me, just like I talked about with the body movements in Weapons being something that really helped to enhance the level of scare in Weapons. For me, the musical numbers, and I'm not somebody that's normally going to talk about musical numbers, but the musical numbers in Sinners, the little Irish jigs sung by vampires,
very bluegrassy, which I love.
I'm into creepy music. I'm into music that has a really dark overtone, as you'll see a little bit later on. We talk about music, but my goodness, the musical numbers in here are just at the next level, like something I don't think I've ever seen in a movie before. Love the freaking musical numbers.
Yeah, and this is already getting nominated for awards. It will absolutely 100% get nominated for some Oscars. It's nominated for some Golden Globes. Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, and there are some newcomers in the cast that are incredible. Cinematography is, like Matt and I both said, the music is incredible. This is a very, very unique movie.
And Steph's a member of the OAFFC, which is a movie critics association. They've already done their year-end awards, and Sinners won so many awards in that one. Won for so many
all of which
things.
I voted for. So
yes. All right. So that is where we're at when it comes to movies. We want to know if you guys are out there watching what you think. If you have movies that you think should have been on our list, that weren't. If you agree, disagree, let us know in the comments, just so that way we can talk about it. We can shout you out. So we are going to quickly so let you know, hey, this is Matt and Steph from Team and Sim from Symmetry Creations. This is our end of year 2025 live stream. We're talking what we did what we did in the year 2025. We just got done with our movies. We're quickly going to hit books and music now, and then after that, we're going to go to TV and streaming, and then we're going to give you some of what's going to happen in 2026 in January for us. We're going to announce a couple of live appearances that we are going to be announced for the first time ever right here on the show. So we're going to go to, let me go pull up. Steph's got 2 books that she's going to talk about. Steph, do you want to say anything about books really quick before we get to these? So something very quick summary of stuff that's not the books you're talking about, just how you go about consuming your books in the year.
I'm going to preface this, and anybody that disagrees with me, you're wrong. There is a big thing in the reader world where if you listen to audiobooks, you're actually not reading. I would like to say that back in like the caveman days, before there was written words, that was how they told stories, was orally. Don't be immature. Orally. Okay? Every story was told by speaking. Okay? So audiobooks do count as reading. Am I actually looking at it and actually processing the words? No, I'm not. However, I'm a writer. I write all day long. So give me a break.
Well, you're also you're still consuming the book, and that's all that matters. You're still consuming it, whether it's in the page, whether it's in your ears, you're consuming it.
I will say that audiobooks sometimes can make a book better. It can also do the opposite if it's a bad narrator. Anyway, I consume books. I listen to audiobooks while I'm running. So I am, I don't want to use the word stimulating. I am making myself better physically and mentally at the same time at very early morning. So I do listen to audiobooks. If you don't like it, sue me. Don't sue me, please. I don't have any money.
Yeah, don't do that. So we're going to go. So Steph's got a couple of specific books that she wants to point out. So the first one is not that. That's not the first book. First one is, I got to remove Sinners. And there you go.
Okay. So this is my runner-up. And these are books that were released this year. Now, I do listen to a lot of audiobooks that were released in years prior that I absolutely adore, but they can't go on this list because we're talking about ones that were actually released in 2025. Frederick Backman is a very popular, forgive me if I'm wrong on this, I believe he is Swedish or Norwegian, one or the other. He actually wrote the book. The book version is called A Man Called Ova, I believe. It was released into a movie called A Man Called Otto by Tom Hanks, an incredible movie. He's a very, very good writer. This is not a realm that I normally read. This is very dramatic. He has a very specific style of writing that is very flowery and beautiful. Heavy on the metaphors. I had to kind of get used to that after a little bit, but this is a very emotional book about a group of friends in like kind of like a fictional, not in the US town, somewhere in Sweden, Norway, and it's a coming of age story that circles back around and brings people together. It's about love and loss, and there's a very famous quote in Stand By Me that says, you never have the friends that you have when you're 12. Who doesn't? And this is exactly what this book feels like. It's very incredibly well written. It's the top of everybody's list this year. So.
It's the top of everybody's list except for you because it's your runner-up, because the top book for you is
Atmosphere by one of my favorite writers, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have loved everything she has ever written. She just knows how to create a story. This book is right up my alley because it's about astronauts, it's about space. It is a love story that takes place in the 1980s at the beginning of the space program, and a group of astronauts who are all kind of like going through the training to vie to be one of the first to go up into a space shuttle. I don't want to give anything away because this is really an excellent book, but it was full of characters that will stick with me. I still think about this book. I read it at the end of the year. So I read it in November. I read it around Thanksgiving, and it's the best audiobook. I mean, the audiobook is performed so well. I don't know if I would have the same feelings from it if I was reading it to myself. That's how good the audiobook is. But it is one of the few books where I have actually cried from the beginning to the end. Normally you read something and it's the ending that gets you. This does something very different where you get to know, you know that something bad is happening, and then you get to know the characters and you grow to love them, and then you're like, as the book goes on, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this is going to happen to them. And it's beautifully written. It's wonderful. I love the characters so much. One of my favorite books of all time. Really.
So that is Steph's top books of the year. She's got what was the first one? My Friends.
Yep.
And Atmosphere. So what we're going to do now, because we know we're into a bunch of different things. You guys know I'm a metal musician. I really am into the metal music world. This was an odd year because normally I can go and say these are going to be my group of albums that were really good. Last year I had so many albums that I had to like fight through what was my top album going to be. This year was different. I actually had more EPs that jumped out to me, but I wanted to just talk about a couple of songs in the metal world that I thought were impactful, that I really enjoyed. From an album perspective, Destinity had a great album. Fragments of Unbecoming had a great album. My guy Zach Leeser had a great EP that was released at the beginning of the year. And he had two different albums, two different EPs that were great that I find myself listening to more than anything. But I had 3 songs specifically that I wanted to point out that I thought were very impactful in the metal world this year.
We'll get there. Almost
there we go. So you had Poppy, Amy Lee, and Courtney LaPlante that did a team up, and I think it was really cool because these are 3 vocalists that are very well known individually, and instead of coming together and putting a new name onto this project, they were just like, no, we're just going to literally have the name of the project just be our 3 names.
I like that too.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to put their link into the comments because it was such a great song to me. I really, really enjoyed the song. It's definitely not as heavy as and intense as you would normally see me recommending, but I think for the majority of people that are out there that are a fan of ours, a supporter of ours, this is something that's probably going to be a little more in your wheelhouse.
Vocally beautiful. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, really, really awesome song. Poppy's got an album coming out in 2026 that I think is going to be really good. Like, I'm really looking forward to her album. But when you get into the little bit heavier side of things, we're going to go to the next one here. Go to the heavier side of things. Where did my image go? There we go. I think we got to go to Ice Nine Kills. Ice Nine Kills probably had the best from a cinematic perspective. Their song, The Laugh Track. The video is a high budget, high dollar production. Really, really well done. I have to give them a plus 5,000 plus points for the fact that my guy, Michael Cortada, an old friend of mine, who's done a lot of art for them, stage set designs, is now actually the freaking drummer in this band. When I saw the music video, I was like, is that Cortada playing drums? I'm like, that didn't make no damn sense. But Michael Cortada, you see he's that one is actually wearing the fedora second from the right. He's actually the drummer in Ice Nine Kills right now, which is freaking awesome. I love the fact that there are rumors floating around. I mean, it's pretty much confirmed rumors now that Ice Nine Kills is going to have some kind of involvement in Scream 7 when it comes out at the end of February. And you see that Matthew Lillard from Scream actually has a cameo in the cinematic part of this music video. So it's cool seeing how all these things kind of come together. And Steph and I will be at Scaradise on February 27th, which is the premiere date, the release date for Scream 7. But Spencer from Ice Nine Kills and Matthew Lillard are all going to be there. So it's going to be interesting to see and talk to them about how the collaboration behind the scenes came together.
Let's not forget that Scaradise, when it was Spookella, formerly Spookella, now Scaradise, had Ice Nine Kills do an acoustic concert that Matt was the MC for. That went around the audience asking questions. Okay, so we've met these guys. Matt way more than me. I've briefly met them. They're amazing. They're so talented. I love them so much. All their songs are about horror movies, so they're good.
All right, so that's Ice Nine Kills there. So now I get to talk about a song that, to me, the song itself, there's, I'll tell you, I even just today watched another thing for these.
Did you watch another reaction video?
Yes. Archspire just released a brand new song, the first song they released in 4 years, called The Carrion Ladder.
Has it been 4 years?
4 years since Bleed the Future came out. Archspire is they're a unicorn band, and here's why I say that. Archspire is based in the tech metal world, but their vocalist takes almost all of his stylings from fast rappers, Tech Nine, Busta Rhymes, things like that. So you've got some of the most insane riffage that you'll ever hear in your life, but you've got vocals that seem like they came from a totally different genre, but it works. It absolutely works. They just came out with the video for their song Carrion Ladder. I'm going to put it in the comments, but what you need to do, you need to first go and watch the Carrion Ladder video, because it is a takeoff on 8 Mile from Eminem. So Archspire spoofs 8 Mile in the entire video, which is incredible.
I don't even really feel like it's spoofing. I feel like they pay homage in like a fun way. I don't even.
Well, they do, but there's definitely some spoof stuff in there for sure.
There is, but it is lovingly done. I will say that they're not making fun of it.
But the thing that makes this song so incredible is if you go to YouTube and just search for Archspire, the Carrion Ladder reaction videos. The reaction videos, most of the time when you watch people that are doing reaction videos, they are overreacting specifically just to overreact. And I'm like, nobody's going to be listening to The Cat's in the Cradle with a Silver Spoon and being like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. That's so ridiculous and so overblown. The reaction videos for the Carrion Ladder, or for Carrion Ladder from Archspire, are some of the most hilarious, inspiring things. When you have somebody that has never heard Archspire before, probably a lot of the people watching this right now, and then you go and hear this song for the first time, you're going to be freaking out, because some of the things that they do musically, especially to somebody that's not in metal, just don't even seem real. They make it seem like it's no big deal being able to be playing 400 beats per minute on the drums, playing gravity blasts with one hand, which all gravity blasts are one hand, but still, some of the things they're doing just is unbelievable. And watching people's reactions to it are just some of the most satisfying things I've seen. I mean, I spent a half a day one day just watching people's reaction videos. It's so great. But for me, that song and the video and everything around it was probably the best thing for 2025, which was just released earlier this month. And so that album gets released in April, I believe, of 2026. And to me, I feel like the bar has already been set. The baseline's already been set. So if you have an album coming out in 2026, you better come hard.
We do our end of the year for 2026 and see where we're at.
You better come correct, because Archspire is already like, dudes, we are going to have the top album of this year. You guys, you're not going to be able to do anything about it, because we're going to steal that from you.
Yeah, it's okay.
So go back over here. So back to the Sinners comments. Brian Winslow said Sinners is on the short list for 8 Oscars already.
Yep.
Yeah, Sinners is going to be winning a ton of awards for a lot of different things.
Actor, director, supporting actor, cinematography, soundtrack, music, all that.
Then Mordrax said, you're talking about the books. People absorb different things in different ways, of course. As long as you're consuming it, it doesn't matter. It's like for the things we do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to us if somebody reads our issue based on the digital PDF that they got, or reads it out of a book. Who cares? As long as they're consuming
audiobook versions of our books, I wouldn't care.
As long as somebody
comics, but I wouldn't care.
Yeah, as long as somebody consumes it, that's great. You know, we want somebody to consume. We spent a lot of time and a lot of effort on wrapping up Heirs of Isildur, the Perilous Prospect story arc, and hearing the commentary that's coming back so far really has been pleasing it to the ears and to the brain and to the soul, so to speak. Yes, we need people to buy the products that we make because it's a business. We need to be able to continue to do what we do. But more than anything, we're writers, and we want the stories that we're writing to be things that people are being moved by. And the responses we've gotten back so far, we are really, really thankful and humbled by the things people have said about them so far.
We still have to talk about TV shows. We need to.
Yep. Lastly, Stephen Ross said he's going to check out Atmosphere based on your recommendation. Thanks, Steph.
Oh.
So Steph,
My goodness.
so why don't you talk really quick about your experience on the stage at San Diego Comic-Con doing the Jaws panel? Just talk really quick about it so I can prepare some things on this side so we can talk about best TV and streaming.
True. Okay, for those that don't know, Jaws is my favorite movie. If you know me a little bit, you know that Jaws is my favorite movie. I've got tons of stuff all around my house. I talk about it all the time. This year was the 50th anniversary, so it was a major deal. I mean, it's always a major deal, but it's even bigger because it was the 50th anniversary. Now, there were a lot of celebrations for this film, as there should be. It's an incredible film. Whether it's your favorite film or not, it's one of Steven Spielberg's most notable films, and it was the first. It's listed as the first summer blockbuster. Let's not forget that. So, just real quick, I was invited thanks to my dear friend Pat Jankowitz, who actually was the moderator for the very first panel that I was ever on at San Diego Comic-Con. So it comes full circle to be on this panel, and it kind of came together last minute at San Diego Comic-Con. It was literally the Jaws 50th anniversary panel at San Diego Comic-Con, and I said, yes, of course. Are you kidding me? I will go there. I will figure it out. I will take time off of work. I will do whatever I need to do to get there to San Diego. I'm in California, so you know. I went, and it was incredible. I've been to San Diego Comic-Con both on panels and in a booth and as an attendee, but it's been several years, and it was insane. It was very busy. I had to take little breaks. I had to take little social breaks where I was like, okay, I'm a little person, and it's not really, but I'm small. And so I was kind of getting stomped around, but San Diego Comic-Con is great. I was able to meet up with a lot of my California comic friends, which I don't get to. I see my Florida comic friends all the time. I don't get to see my California comic friends very often. I thought, okay, because the panel was on Friday at 7 p.m. after the con was closed, when everybody's going back to their hotels. They're going to go get their drinks. They're going to go party. They're going to go have fun. I went, and I was told that the line was not only around the building, it was outside, which I actually passed the line. Didn't think it was for Jaws. Around the building, San Diego Comic-Con is at the convention center, which is huge. There were 1,000 people that attended that, and it was absolutely one of the best moments I've had as a creator. It was incredible. I got to talk about the thing I love with a bunch of wonderful, amazing creators and people who love the movie as much as I did. People were coming up and wanting our autographs, and it was unreal. One of the best moments ever. All
right, so hopefully there'll be more opportunities like the Jaws panel. Now we're going to talk about favorite TVs and streaming shows.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to start this one off because Steph hasn't had a chance to watch this one yet. Last Samurai Standing, great show. Really enjoy the aesthetic, from any kind of show that is set in that era is something that really is appealing to me. If you look at some of our titles, obviously we have I Am Keto, which is set there. TATSUMI, the Serpent Mistress. The main character in the show is actually kind of funny because he looks like Keto. He looks like Keto,
Yeah.
But it's basically you can feel that there's a little bit of a takeoff on Squid Game in the show, which on one hand is a negative, on the other hand is a positive. But there's a little bit of takeoff where they've got all these samurai, and who's going to be the final samurai that's going to be standing based on the title. But it's really well shot, really well designed. The first episode has got probably one of the most absolute off the chain samurai battles that I've ever seen. There's literally a couple of hundred people in there just swinging their swords like they're going to town. But it's done in a way that's very original if you can have a samurai battle be original. Just was renewed for its second season, which is good because season 1 ends in a spot that you're like, this feels like a midway point, like a mid-season finale, not a season finale. So I'm glad they just officially said that this streaming hit is now going to have a season 2 coming up soon. So Last Samurai Standing is definitely something that I would say you'd want to watch. So next up, we're going to go quickly to one that Steph had a lot of fun with because of the frenetic energy of it. If you've ever watched a show like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is known for the fact that it's got the most words per minute of any television show ever made in the history of television, because everything is just everybody being loud and hyper, and every character just don't have any room to breathe. And Steph, tell them your opinion of the studio, because it's the same type of show.
It is. I mean, it's kind of the same vein. It's Always Sunny in the Bear, where some people are like, I can't handle watching it. It gets my anxiety up. And I do understand that because it is very fast paced. It is, like Matt said, frenetic. This I feel like is Seth Rogen's best that he has ever been. And again, I know the show is not for everybody. I absolutely adored it because it is such a real take on Hollywood, how he got the amount of actors, famous people, directors, actors, writers that are very well known that just show up as cameos in an episode. And you're like, what is this person doing here? The episodes are short, so that's kind of nice. They're easily digestible, but it is a very real, raw take on Hollywood that only somebody who is involved in Hollywood could tell. I watched this to make sure, because I didn't know, I wasn't quite sure. I have to kind of like screen some things sometimes, and then I watched it again with my son, who is an aspiring filmmaker. He's in a very prestigious media arts program at his high school, and he absolutely loved it. So we got to bond over it, which we'll talk about again with another show later. But I absolutely love this show. There's like this weird unspoken thing where Seth Rogen's character probably like trips and falls because he's just so, I don't know, spastic. And it's never talked about. He trips and he falls and he gets up. And I'm like, I can relate to that because I'm very clumsy. And so it's just...
Well, and one of the things too, if you're somebody that was a fan of This Is the End, which is the apocalypse movie, where there's so many characters, so many real world people that are in there by name, but they're playing like this bizarre, like funky caricature of themselves. And This Is the End. It's the same thing with the studio, where when you see like a real world person come in, they're playing a bizarre caricature of themselves, which is what makes it great.
And how some of these actors are okay playing this version of themselves, which isn't always flattering, to me says what a great relationship they have with Seth Rogen to be able to tell it. I love it so much. I love LA. I'm a Californian. What can I say? So
speaking about relationships, we're going to go to a show that's based on a father-son relationship. A lot of the stuff after this is really dark. We're going to go to Adolescence. Adolescence is on Netflix. I think it's only 4 episodes. So it's a miniseries. It's a miniseries that I almost wish there was more to the season, but it's one of the draws of Adolescence is that the entire series is filmed from a single camera perspective. So it's literally like if you're going from, say, building A to building B, they're not going to have a shot at building A that they're going to cut and go to building B. You literally are going to take a car ride with somebody, be on the outside of it, and then go into building B. Or maybe the camera's going to come up and be on a drone or something like that. But there's not any cuts at all in any of the episodes, which really, again, just kind of like how the studio was, where you don't get to breathe because it's so fast-paced and frenetic. This show is the opposite in that it's very slow and well done, but you still don't get a chance to breathe because there's no cuts, because it's always, it's just so well done. It's a heartbreaking story without giving any spoilers away in the story. Basically the first scene starts off with an arrest of a juvenile, and you get to live through his perspective and his parents' perspective and some other classmates' perspective of how this arrest has come about. Anything you want to add to adolescent stuff? I know this is what we both wanted
It's
to
a
really
very
make sure was on the
difficult
list.
watch, but it's important. It is important. The acting, I mean, this, and I feel really bad that I don't know this young actor's. I can't remember this young actor's name, but he's incredible. I mean, I think he plays a character who's 12. I believe he's around the same age. He's absolutely incredible. The father isn't. So as a parent, as someone who was once an adolescent, I can relate to both sides of this, and it's so incredibly, the acting is so incredibly well done. I love single shot takes. I'm as a film buff, I love single shot takes, and the fact that this entire series is that. I had heard that it was very difficult to watch, and it is. This is not for everybody, but it is also it's such a good watch if you can kind of go, okay, I need to prepare myself for the fact that this is not a happy show. It isn't, but it's a very raw show that could have been terrible if the acting wasn't so amazing.
Speaking of the acting, so the young actor, has looked him up. Owen Cooper is the name of the adolescent.
Incredible.
But the father, Stephen Graham, has already started winning some awards for his portrayal of the father. Just gripping,
Absolutely.
gutting performance from Stephen Graham.
Parent,
really good.
You can watch this and not put yourself in that position, and it's going to absolutely tear your heart out.
So next up, we're going to go to a show that has really done a good job on streaming, which is Welcome to Derry. Normally, I'm not a big prequel person because when you know where a show is going and they have to pigeonhole it into the existing material, it makes it a tough watch because you already know the outcome. Without spoiling Welcome to Derry, they'd have a really fun take on how they're able to make that work. The thing for me about Welcome to Derry is, as we talked earlier, like with weapons and with sinners, the creep factor in those things is so genuine. The way that Pennywise is portrayed in this show is so well done. I know I'm in the minority where most people think that episode 7 is one of the greatest episodes of television this year. I personally did not like episode 7 at all because of, I like, even if it's in a fantasy universe, I like characters to have interactions and motivations that are realistic to what a human being is going to do. There are some things in episode 7 that I had a very difficult time believing that any human being is going to act the way that they did in episode 7. That being said, I think that episode 8 is an incredible episode. I think they did such a great job of wrapping up the arc. There's some good viral moments that have been shown ad nauseum online. You've probably seen memes from episode 8 and not even realize that's what you're seeing. But so well done. Steph, you have anything you want to add about Welcome to Derry? About your thoughts? I love
the Easter eggs. There are a lot, and whether Stephen King intended for all of this to happen, he's approved it, and I love that we get a little bit more history and story with Dick Hallorann, which is one of my favorite characters from The Shining. And did I know that he was going to show up in this show? No. Did I know he was going to play such a major part? No. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is really crazy and cool. I will say that Pennywise does not show up in Pennywise form until later on. However, this really hits home the fact that it is it. It doesn't always have to be Pennywise. It is a very bad force who personifies itself in many different forms. I like that it's set in the 50s. That's very interesting. There's going to be others that are set all the other 30-year incantations of it coming about. So it probably could have cut a lot editorial wise because some of the episodes really drag on, but this was very cool. It's very cool and interesting. There's so many, and if you have seen the newer It movies, there's a ton of Easter eggs in it.
So if you haven't watched it, welcome to Derry, and you are somebody that's really into horror, this is a series that you might find fun, especially with the things that Steph said, how it's going to connect up to the lore in a way that's original and unique. But now we're going to go to Steph's top show, TV or streaming, for the year, and I hope she likes the image that I picked out for it, and that is...
Yes! This is Severance season 2, and listen, this was really hard because I watched. It was very easy to pick my favorite movies of the year. It was a lot more difficult favorite shows of the year. I do want to say some shows that I loved this year that it just did not get in to my final list were White Lotus. I'm a White Lotus stan. I love White Lotus. Oh my god, I cannot wait for the next season. Oh my gosh, it just like left my mind. Okay, so it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Sorry, The Pit. No Wiley. Yes, it's ER reincarnated. Whatever. It's great. Severance season 2. Severance season 1 came about a few years ago. Absolutely blew my mind. I did have to rewatch several episodes to understand it. It's a very cerebral show, but it's my favorite type of show where there's mystery on top of mystery on top of mystery, and once you solve one mystery, there's like 10 more questions that you have. This is my son's favorite show of all time, and so we watch it, we bond over it. I mean, we had a severance part for the finale of this one. We did a severance party. I made food and got decorations. That's just the type of mom that I am. This is an incredibly well acted, well crafted television show. It is very deep in lore and heavy. Like, you have to pay attention. This is not a show I can watch tired because I'll fall asleep. It's Ben Stiller. Who knew that Ben Stiller could make something so dramatic and amazing? The image that Matt picked is my favorite. There's always there's a lot of irreverence to this show, and this was absolutely my favorite moment of the entire series.
Agreed.
Where the entire
Agreed.
season,
So out of left field.
Tillman doing this ridiculous dance number with a marching band out of nowhere, and this thing became viral. He was doing this. I mean, it's just, and the characters' reactions are exactly as viewers, where we're like, "What?" It's an incredible television show. It is incredibly well done. It's such a good story, and I can't wait to find out what happens in season 3. Let's not make us wait 5 years again, Ben Stiller. Let's do it a little quicker.
So my favorite show of the year, which is another one that just, this one is tough to talk about for completely different reasons, is Paradise. And we were putting this list together. Steph was even like, "Are you sure that was this year?" I'm like, "Yeah, it actually came out in January of 2025.
Time ago.
So if you've not watched Paradise, I implore you to not look up anything on IMDb, to not go to Rotten Tomatoes, to not look up any kind of summary of what the show is, to go to Hulu, watch the thing, episode 1, and I'm really big on does a show have a great episode 1 that's going to hook you? Do they have a great final episode of a season or whatever it may be to wrap up all the plot points? Paradise has one of the most, and I rarely am going to curse on a show like this, one of the most batshit plot twists you will ever see in your life. I cannot remember a time, we talked about it with Weapons, where you have one movie at the start and then it becomes something completely different halfway through. With Paradise, you know you're watching a certain show. You have no reason to believe it's ever going to be something different. And then you get near the very end and it flips the script and you're like, I've been watching a completely different show, completely different type of show than I originally thought I'd been watching. And then it almost makes you want to go back to the beginning of episode 1 and rewatch it with with this new knowledge, because you're like, I was watching a completely different show. I have to, as a writer, I commend the writers, the directors, everything about this show to allow them to put little breadcrumbs throughout this episode without giving away this insane plot twist that comes after that, and then to make that plot twist be as good as it is. Such a well done full season, such a great cliffhanger at the end. Cannot wait for season 2 of Paradise that starts in Q1 of 2026. So that's my top show of the year, just because it's so well put together to have that big flip in the pilot episode that is just unlike any other flip I've ever seen. So if you've watched,
it's in my top 5 as well. It is. I can't remember a time where I did not see a plot twist coming in the first episode. When the first episode ends, Matt and I were like, "What?" Because it's like kind of like a slow reveal, and you're like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Yeah, it's such a bizarre onion. It's like having the onion peel, and you peel back the onion, and inside the onion is like a car.
Even better.
And you're like, how did they fit a car inside that onion? It's supposed to be an onion inside the onion, and it's just something is so unexpected. Great.
But let's also add, this show has some of the best remixes of older songs that the soundtrack is, and it hits emotionally. I mean, this is not necessarily an emotional show. It can be at times, but made me cry because the music, along with the cinematography, we actually like looked up some of the versions of the song. There's like, wow, I really like this version.
There's a couple of really good.
You're like, what?
So with that being said, we have one last small segment to go before we go anywhere, but that's our top list. We talked today about Frankenstein, Minecraft the movie, K-pop Demon Hunters, Happy Gilmore 2, Weapons. We talked about The Perfect Neighbor being the best documentary. We talked about War of the Worlds with Ice Cube being the what the heck was that even doing, like even being created movie. And then our top movie, both of us, was Sinners. Steph talked about her favorite audiobooks. Because say the names of them again.
Atmosphere and My Friends.
I brought up Poppy, Amy Lee, and Courtney LaPlante. I brought up Iceland Kills movie for the laugh track, and I also brought up Art Spire's Carrion Ladder as notable moments in metal music for the year. Then we just talked about Last Samurai Standing, The Studio, Adolescence, Welcome to Derry, Serpent Season 2, Paradise. Before we leave talking about TV and streaming, we can't get off of TV and streaming without saying we hope that everybody tonight has fun watching the Stranger Things series finale. It's one of those things that, regardless of whether they're going to be able to pull everything together or not, who really cares? In a sense, yes, we want it to be a satisfying series finale, but as we showed today, Stranger Things is part of the culture. We did a Stranger Things homage cover a couple of years ago, been able to spend time with people like Jamie Campbell Bower and some others from the show at some of the conventions we've done. I just can't wait to be a part of the spectacle that it is. For me, it's in 2 hours and 45 minutes. I guess for Seth it is too. It's at 8 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock Steph's time. That's part of the reason we did this.
So and people, can you just not? Can everybody just cool it with the spoilers for like at least a dare? Like, not all of us have time to sit and commit to like a TV show, especially.
There's also a way to post about. There's also a way to post about spoilers, post about the show without being like, you'd be like, hey, that was a great finale. Great. Or you'd be like, I wish the finale was more great, without talking about, hey, I can't believe X character died. You don't need to do that right off the bat. You can talk about your feelings without getting into specifics.
I talked to, just real quick, like I work in a gym like as my day job, and I was talking to a member today, and she's a nurse, and she's like, it's New Year's Eve. I have to work the overnight shift. That's part of it. So she is going to be saving everybody's drunk asses. Sorry for the cussing. And she's like, I'm just really bummed that I'm going to miss Stranger Things, and I hope that no one spoils it for me. So you know what? If you don't care about spoiling it for us, maybe not spoil it for somebody like her who is out there saving everybody's irresponsible butts who are drinking too much tonight and can't watch it and really wants to. How about that?
So with that being said, we said we waited all the way to the end of the show. We would reveal our January schedule. We do have some live streams that potentially going to be on some other things. We'll talk about those as well. But we wanted to reveal for the first time anywhere. We're going to put them up on our website tomorrow for New Year's Day. But here is our January schedule. Okay, Paradise, get out of here. For 2025. Upcoming schedule. We have our first two, the Perilous Prospects, the finale release parties. Last year, we actually I went out to California, did a couple of shows out there with Steph in her stomping grounds. This year we had to do it in January because Scaradice moved from April to February to accommodate this Scream debut, the Scream 7 release. So on Saturday, January 24th, we will be in Fresno, California at Legends Comics doing our Heirs of Isildur, the Perilous Prospects, the finale release party. The next day, we're going to be at Steph's local LCS, her place that was incredibly supportive of us last time and is always supportive of Steph when she's out there at Collector's Choice in Visalia. We'll have the actual times of those events, and if there's going to be anybody else that might be there with us, we'll let you guys know that if and when that the information might take place. Also need to get a Perilous Prospects, the finale release party here, because we need to try and get one in Bearded Browncoat since they have a store cover that was done. But also you see on there, our next Kickstarter is going to be launching January 27th, Tuesday, for Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress #2. We talked about it a little bit earlier. We are super freaking excited about this. This is going to be the continuation, obviously, of our series. We are so stoked to be able to get some more covers revealed for this. This image is from Chess and Gwyn. We talked about them earlier. And Chess and Gwyn, this is a part of their cover, The Women of the Side Stalker. You see Tatsumi in the middle. You see Lydia Snake Arrow. You see Marley Pendleton on the right. This is going to be the first full cover that we're going to reveal, since we've already revealed half of it with the campaign image. But as we get into the start of 2026, we'll reveal this. We're going to have another cover from Alessandro and Alan that is called The Serpent Whisperer that we're going to reveal. We have a cover that's in process from our guy, Renan Shoddy, and we have another cover we'll reveal as well. This is going to be such a fun campaign. This issue is going to take the story that started in issue 1 with Tatsumi being left adrift out in the Serpent Sea, and it's going to ramp up the energy and intensity and the set pieces and the swashbuckling even more. So that is, yeah, it's going to be very swashbuckly. The link for this campaign is in the show notes. So we'd love for you to go follow that now, help us spread the word. Steph, is there anything you want to say about Tatsumi to help excite people about this campaign that's going to be our next one?
What I like about Tatsumi, what we've done so far, is there's some really great interpersonal relationships that aren't always romantic. It doesn't mean there's not going to be a romantic ones from time to time. But I like that we try to make heavy stories that are heavy on friendships, especially friendships that are platonic or between females, and it's not catty. It's not, they're not fighting. They're actual. They grow to care for one another and they support one another. Males and females can be friends and support one another, and it doesn't have to be nefarious. That's one of my things that I am always big on. I know Matt is too. Let's create some interpersonal relationships and friendships between people that are just that, just friendships. It's okay to have that. It doesn't always have to be romantic, always. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be that. So I do love that we expand upon that more so in issue 2. It just makes you like the people, because the majority of us have one romantic relationship and a lot of friendships or family relationships. So it's real life, guys. So it's
the way I always like to make sure that we've got things that people can feel are relatable within a story. So you can relate to the fact, hey, I never thought I was going to become friends with that person, and now I am. And when you see someone who is an Onobugeisha, a female fighting warrior in in an Asian culture, and you see her becoming friends with and taking cues from somebody who's coming from a pirate culture, and putting them together and in a way that is just so completely organic and believable. That's what we're hoping. And one of the best things about this is we have a guest appearance, not a cameo, not just drawing them in the corner and then they're done. The band, the Dread Crew of Oddwood, who's about to go on a European tour with our buddies Trollfest and Corpaclani, they actually have a guest appearance in this issue. They actually get to be involved in it. And it's really fun that we got to take somebody that is in the pirate music, pirate realm, and incorporate them into our pirate title. So that was something that was great. We can't wait to share that with you guys. So yes, we're super stoked about that as well.
But a lot of you didn't know that there's a pirate music realm, but there is.
If you've never heard Ailstorm or bands like that, or the Dread Crew of Oddwood, you want to go out and look up some of their videos. Super fun, super fun. With that being said, we've already been doing this for an hour and 20 minutes, and it is New Year's Eve. We know it's New Year's Eve. We know that you guys want to get out and start doing your things. If you're on the East Coast, you want to be eating dinner so you can prepare for the Stranger Things finale. If you're on the West Coast, you're probably still at work, and you're like, dudes, I'm still at work, man. I need to get off and eat and be able to watch Stranger Things while I'm eating. But unless you got something else that you want to say, Steph, I've been very happy with the response that we've gotten from our fans and friends and supporters this year. I think that this has been one of the best years we've had from an in-sim perspective. We have a wide open pathway that we can go on this year in 2026 because we don't have new heirs, Perilous Prospects. We don't have Misfits. That is a part of the project we already had out there. Will there be more heirs this year? Will there be more Misfits? Who knows? We know there's going to be more Tatsumi. We know we are going to be a part of 3 different anthologies, one of which has already been kickstarted, 2 of which that will be kickstarted. We know we're going to be in 3 different anthologies in the new year, maybe more, you never know. Yeah. And it's going to be fun to be able to see where the pathway leads. So with that being said, that's all I have to say for this year. I'm super stoked. What about you, Steph?
I'm looking forward to 2026 as well. It's going to get off to a great start because Matt's going to be here with me and at my stopping grounds, which does not happen hardly ever. It's usually me traveling. So I'm like, I just have to go to the airport and pick him up. That's great. But I'm just happy that he gets to be here, see my people, and get the local response from everybody here that I get all the time when I'm in.
Oh yeah, the people out there. So really like the people out there, very supportive.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that. We've got a lot of great shows that we already have in the docket or planned for 2026. Kickstarters. I think it's going to be great, and just a lot of goals for us to just keep continuing to grow as writers. We just thank everybody who supported us in any way this year, whether it be monetarily at a show, supporting whatever Kickstarters or back a kit, or if it was just having us on your show, your live stream, your podcast, sharing our posts. Even if all you can do is you're like, well, listen, all I can do is share your posts. That means a lot to us, okay? Because your audience is not our audience necessarily, and so you are taking the time to hit that button and share it and say, we think Matt and Steph are cool, and we just appreciate everyone's support this year. I hope that next year will be the same, and of course that's what we look forward to as content creators, and for you guys to join us on this wild ride that we've been doing since 2018. I just think that it's just going to keep growing and getting better, and I look forward to what we do because we might have some of it planned out, and some of it is always a surprise, like me being on the Jaws 50th anniversary panel last summer. We never know what's going to happen. So if
you're somebody that missed any of our titles this year, whether it be Misfits Clubhouse, all the shenanigans so far, Tatsumi #1, Heirs of Isildur, the Perilous Prospects, or you missed some of our support merch, our shirts, our socks, our metal music, anything like that. Just know that you don't have to wait for a crowdfunding campaign to go and rectify this injustice. You can go to insignaturecreations.com/shop, and you can go and pick up pretty much anything that we do that we still have in stock there. If you want to see all the different things that we have, whether it be crowdfunding campaigns, music videos, if you want to see Steph's articles that she writes for places like Fangoria, Creepy Kingdom, Horror Geek Life, Horror Buzz, or if you want to see the articles that we have started posting exclusively to our site there, Steph, because Steph's a part of a writing organization, she gets more what's called screeners than can normally be posted to some of these sites. So we've started to exclusively put them on our site. So we've already got a few of those movie reviews up on our site as well. So yeah, you can go to linktree.com/InSymmetry Creations. That'll get you to all of the different links, including all of Steph's articles, the exclusive ones we have on our site, metal music videos, all that stuff. And we want to make sure you guys get yourselves out there to tinyurl.com/Tatsumi2, the number 2. Once again, it's tinyurl.com/Tatsumi2 so that you can follow and bookmark the Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress number 2 campaign that's going to launch January 27th, 2026. On behalf of Steph Cannon, my name is Matt Knowles. We are Team InSymmetry Creations. We thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we hope you have a great night, and we will see you in 2026.
Happy New Year and be safe tonight. Don't do anything stupid. Be safe. Bye.